Hi everybody! Today we're going to be looking back at all the pages I coloured during March of 2024, and my theme for the month of March carried on from February because in February I was pretty busy and I didn't really have a lot of time for personal colouring, so I just carried on the theme for another month, and that film was films and TV. This is the first one that I coloured from Lynn Early Works Grayscale, and the picture that we coloured was actually on camera, this one. This is the one we did here. And I've coloured her to look like Rainbow Bright from the 80s cartoon series I used to watch while I was growing up. Probably showing my age a little bit there, but yeah, I used to watch Rainbow Bright as I was growing up. And I decided to colour the darker grayscale because in this book you do get a lighter grayscale and a darker grayscale. We went for the darker one. And I coloured her with the marker base. As you might have seen when I flipped over there, we do have a marker base there. I just shaded on top of her with pencils. For the background, I brought in some chalk pastels. There's a couple of shades of chalk pastel here, a dark blue and a lighter one. I went around the frame with a metallic Sharpie and also around the edges of these stars. And the stars themselves I painted with some metallic watercolours, just some fairly cheap metallic watercolours from B&M here in the UK. But the colours are really bright and quite pigmented, and I think they worked really well here for those stars. Yeah, you can see they are sparkling in the light there. I did bring in a couple of little star stickers for the bows on her hair and for Starlight's tail. I think there's a couple, stick-on crystals I brought in as well there. The rest are markers and pencils with the chalk pastel in the background and a metallic watercolour. Yay! I tried to make her really sparkly, glittery. Nice rainbow colours going on there. Obviously the usual white gel pen for going over a bit of the line art on the frills for her dress and for her socks. And yeah, I was super happy with how that turned out. Get a roll on, there we go. Yeah, I was super happy with how she turned out. So there we go, that's the first one that I coloured. Rainbow Bright from Lynn Early Works Grayscale. Next we're moving on to this one here. I can get it all on camera, just about, I think. There we go. And this one was a challenge that was suggested by someone in the comments for one of my previous videos. I'm afraid I can't remember your name right offhand, but you know who you are. And the challenge that was suggested was to colour a picture just using products from the pound shop here in the UK, which is kind of the equivalent to the dollar stores in the US, I think. And this is the image that I chose. This one is actually by Lana Green. It's a freebie from Lana Green, digital download. So I'll pop a link in the description to Lana Green's website there. She's got a load of really, really nice freebies you can download and colour. And this is the one that I chose called Star Princess because I thought she would go with the kind of star theme I had in my head using the products that I bought. And I think she's worked out really well. We ended up using watercolours a lot for this ruffle here, I think, and the purple ruffle. We used some fibre tip pens, scribbled onto a palette and used as watercolours, and actually used as pens, I think, for her hair, just the pen straight onto the paper. There's a load of star stickers. These stars here on the purple ruffle, those are all star stickers, and I used a different kind star stickers for the freckles on her skin there. We've used coloured pencils. We found a packet of coloured pencils that worked really well, especially like this gold combo. I used that again a little bit later on. And collage paper. I drew in this circle here, and I used some collage paper that I managed to pick up, which I was really pleased with. It had loads of lovely galaxy kind of effect patterns on it, and we popped that in for the background, and I think this colour matched in really well. And this one is all on camera, where I showed you how I coped with colouring each different element of the image there. And oh yeah, I forgot we got the little crystal stick-on gems there as well from the pound shop. There we go. Managed to get in some of my crystal gems. And yeah, I'm really pleased with how she turned out, considering it was really cheap products. We managed to make those work really super well, I think. And yeah, that one is all on camera if anyone's interested. And that one is Star Princess by Lana Green. Apologies for the neighbours there if you heard them with their cars outside. But next we're moving on to Wildflower Folk by Christine Karron. And this one came about because I actually watched a video by Christine Karron, which again I will link in the description below. I'm not sure if it was on Instagram or on YouTube, but I watched a video where Christine herself was colouring some a face colouring some skin using this kind of fairy sort of colour palette on natural colours that she likes to use for her skin, and I had the idea that maybe I could do something similar along the same lines and try it out by using Crayola pencils. And the picture that I picked to colour was this one here, and again I coloured this one on the camera, showing how I got this skin going on with the Crayola pencils. And yeah, I think we got it working pretty well. It's not exactly the same as the one in the Christine Karron video, but she was using polychromos, I think, if I remember right, for her skin. Her colours were a little bit brighter, and I have recently bought the 100 set of Crayola pencils, and at this time I was doing this I only had the 36 set, so I had to be a little bit creative with my colours and try and get just something similar, even though obviously I couldn't get exactly the same. I did use the pencils from the pound shop for the ribbons in her hair because I really did like this gold effect we had going on, so I brought that over into this picture. And again, I think that's worked really well. I did bring in a glitter gel pen, a gold glitter gel pen, to go around some of my line art, which I'm not sure I'll be able to get to glitter. There we go. On the outlines of the daffodils, I just went around the line art with a gold glitter gel pen, around the outlines of her wings and her eyelashes, with these kind of feather effects here on her eyelashes. I think I brought in maybe a Posca or the Uniball gold gel pen to colour this headband she's got there. There's a little teeny tiny stick-on crystal. If we can see that one there. Yeah, I do love to use my little stick-on crystals. There's a lot of glitter glue that I used for her fairy wings. Can we make it sparkle? Yeah, I think so, yeah. Her fairy wings and her eyelashes, there's a lot of glitter glue there. I think that's just a cheap one that I found in the charity shop. It's not Mystickles or Dovecraft glitter glue, it's just a cheap one from the charity shop. From the background here, I used Super Tips as watercolour by colouring onto the paper and then bringing in the damp brush to spread that colour around and give it a few little watercolour effects. I really love how it's worked there. I think that looks super cool. White gel pen to go around her wings, give a few little fairy sparkles, again on her eyelashes. And I did bring in some gold ink just to splash. I think that's just the Winsor & Newton gold ink, just as splashes around in the background for a little bit of interest. And yeah, again, really pleased with how she turned out. Obviously not the same as Christine Karron's, not quite up to that standard, but for Crayola pencils, I think that's worked really well. And it was a little bit of a test as well to see if the Super Tips as watercolour would work on this in this book, because it is the Blue Angel paper, but I hadn't tested it yet, and yet that does work. If anybody wants to use the Super Tips as watercolour in the Wildflower Folk book, which I think I will do in the future, I think I'll be doing that because that does work really well and it's a technique I do love to use. But that's the lady that we coloured in the Wildflower Folk book by Christine Karron. And before I show the next one, this one does have spiders in it, so if anybody doesn't like spiders, bit of arachnophobia, then look away now and I'll tell you when we can look back. But this one is from Tolkien's World colouring book, and this is also one that I did on camera. I do have some paper in between because this one was done all with chalk pastels, just to test whether I could colour a whole picture with chalk pastels, and yeah, I think that was pretty successful. This one again, pretty much all on camera, as was the Christine Karron skin with the Crayola pencils. This one again all on camera, as a video on the channel. And as I said, this one was to test whether I could colour a whole picture or a whole double page spread in this case, just by using chalk pastels, and I think that's worked really well. There was a bit of a shaky start, I think, where I was getting a bit caught up in trying to get it perfect over in this area here, trying to get it looking perfect, and I was struggling a little bit because trees are not something that I colour anyway. I don't really gravitate towards colouring trees, so I was having a bit of a hard time. But once I kind of loosened up a bit, let myself go, I kind of thought, well, this isn't working, so I might as well have a bit of fun, and it did actually end up working. And yeah, really pleased with how it turned out, considering that's just chalk pastel with a little bit of white gel pen. I did find out a whole lot about working with chalk pastels to colour a whole picture. I had to fix it a few times with the fixative in between layers, and I tried erasing the pastel. I worked on top with the white gel pen, as I said. After I'd fixed it, it seemed to work a lot better, which makes sense. And yeah, it did work really well, I think, in the end. Here's the spiders. I didn't realise those were there when I actually picked the picture, so apologies for that. Anybody who doesn't like them. And yep, that one is from Tolkien's World. The artist is Andrea Pipino, I think I remember. Yeah, Andrea Pipino. It does say there which artist coloured which pages, and I think it was Andrea Pipino from that one. So that one is from Tolkien's World. And anyone who doesn't like spiders can look again now. We're done with the spiders. The next one we're moving on to is from Symphony of Cute Animals by Kanoko Egusa. And this one was a buddy colour by Bubble of Colouring here on YouTube and on Instagram. And there we go, this is the one that we chose to do with these cute little piggies, and this one was super fun to do. I used Black Widow pencils for this one, blended with the white polychromos, which is what I like to do. I did bring in some washi tape for these umbrellas. Those are two different kinds of washi tape. Some paper collage for this kind of cloth or tablecloth, whatever it was in this book. I couldn't figure out how to colour that, so I went for paper collage. It's kind of a pink gingham kind of effect going on there. And the background, chalk pastel. I'm not sure if that will be showing up on the camera, but yeah, chalk pastel, very, very faint background there with some white kind of circles with the white gel pen to try and make it look like bubbles, as if this piggy is having his little shower. There's loads of bubbles flying around there. And yeah, as I said, this one was a body colour, so I will pop up Bubble of Colouring's version of this page here on the side so we can get a little side-by-side going on. I think hers is really super nice. I do love those orange flowers she's got going on in the corner there. I would have never thought to do orange flowers, so yeah, I thought those worked out really nicely. And her background with that kind of golden yellow, I think that works in super well. I do love her colour palette. But there we go, that was our buddy colour there, which I really enjoyed doing. So thank you very much for the buddy colouring there. We've got another one lined up for next month, which I'm really looking forward to. So there we go. Those are from the Symphony of Cute Animals by Kanoko Egusa. I'm going a little bit out of order here, but this one is more fitting to bring up next because I was chatting with Bubble of Colouring on Instagram, and I will link her channels below, by the way. But I was chatting with her on Instagram and she mentioned Karla Megana, or Karla Megana, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. And I realised that I'd been meaning to colour Karla Megana for ages and I hadn't gotten round to it. So I went and looked up Karla Megana's YouTube channel, and she had a video that was based on the 80s kind of neon colours. And I will link the video down below. This is what I used to kind of get inspired to colour this picture. After watching that video, I really wanted to colour one of her images, and I realised I had a couple in here, which is Colouring Heaven Halloween special, I think from last year. This is issue 106. So yeah, Halloween special from last year. And this is the one that I coloured. Very, very bright and neon, and my gosh, was this fun. This is mainly using the Yoo-hoo markers. I was trying to colour along with Carla, and she was colouring her little kind of neon lady in her, is it called Cosmetica? That's the book she was colouring in, and she did it really based on the 80s kind of neon purples and yellows. I tried to follow along. She had this really awesome kind of watercolour effect going on that she made with her markers, but I couldn't quite get that to work for me. So what I ended up doing was dabbing. Once I tried to get the watercolour effect and wasn't too happy with it, I dabbed it with the hand sanitizer gel to get this kind of texture going on, and that worked a lot better. Well, I thought it did, so I went with that. The rest of it just Hoo markers. The gems here on her rings and her jewels, those are glitter gel pen. And Carla did use a jelly roll glaze, the black jelly roll glaze, and I don't have that, so I used a black glitter gel pen in some places to try and get the same kind of effect, and I think that's worked super well. She did end up blacking out a lot of her page, so I did that and ended up playing with it afterwards. I splashed on some gold ink, stuck on the stars, just went a little bit crazy and had lots of fun with it, and yeah, I think that's turned out really fun. A little bit crazy, but super fun. I do love this kind of outlining that she did. I think she used a Posca pen for hers. If I remember right, she used a Posca pen. I had a yellow pen paint pen that I found, and I used that one to go around the edges and these kind of sketchy lines, and yeah, I loved it. It was a really quick one to do, that one. Really fun, a little bit crazy. I'd never really coloured hair in this way with the markers. So yeah, I did learn quite a bit, and I might use this technique with the outlining. Like I said, these sketchy lines, I think that works super well, especially on these kind of more graphic kind of illustrations. And yeah, that is the one from a Halloween special, Colouring Heaven. That's by Karla Megana. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Megana. But there we go. Oh, and I did add a couple of my crystal gems there on her forehead. You can see there were a couple of circles there. So I got to bring in my crystal gems that I do love to use. And yeah, I love her. Super fun. That one is from Halloween special, Colouring Heaven, Karla Megana. The next one I have to show you is from Pop Manga Cute and Creepy colouring book. If I remember right, this one is using, or trying out actually, Inktense pencils. There we go, and this one was on camera, trying out the Inktense pencils, which unfortunately didn't work super well on this paper. We do have a lot of a spotty kind of dotty effect going on the background there, especially for his cape. That's focused. Yeah, on his cape there's that kind of spotty or dotty effect. But yeah, overall, really pretty fun. Again, I did learn quite a bit about using the Inktense. The background I did, again, with chalk pastel, a couple of shades of like ochre and brown there. The roses are glitter gel pen. A few are painted in with the gold ink. There we go. This white gel pen just to go around a few as well. I think I ended up smudging the gold ink there, so I had to kind of improvise a little bit and work that in. But yeah, kind of pleased with how it turned out. It was a bit of a learning experience, but it has worked out pretty well. I do need a little bit more practice with the Inktense, I think, to figure out exactly how to work with them. I did pick up again a few tips in the comments for that video, which I'm really grateful for, and I will want to try those out again in the future, try and use some of the tips that I had. But yeah, overall it was a bit of a kind of a play around, mess around, try and get to the feel for them, see how they worked. And I might use them again in the future, but I do need a lot more practice, I think, with those. Kind of pleased with how this did turn out, though. I tried to stick with the Disney colours for Beauty and the Beast, as I was going with the films and TV as a little bit of a theme this month. And so I stuck with the yellow and the blue. Just brought in a few more colours with these books here. And yeah, pleased with the end result, pretty much, apart from that little spotty effect, but there's not much we can do about that, so yeah, I have to kind of try and ignore it. But yeah, apart from that, pretty pleased with how that's turned out. I do love this tail, as I said in the video. I do love how that tail's turned out with the swirls with the white gel pen on there. I think that's worked out really well, but that is the one that we coloured from Cute and Creepy. And that one we coloured on film. You can see me struggling with those Inktense pencils there. Cute and Creepy from Camilla D'Erico. Next we're moving on to another Colouring Heaven. This is the Winged Fantasy Colouring Heaven by Adele, Lorienne, and this is one I just picked up to relax and chill out on the sofa, do a little bit of colouring, and for some reason I picked one of the most complicated pictures in the book. So it took ages, but I'm really pleased with how it's done. Oops, sticking together. There we go. This is the one that we finished in here. And this one is done with the Big Kids pencils. Just to keep things really simple, I like to do sometimes just really limit my colour choices. I just picked up the Big Kids pencils there, just the 12 sets, and coloured that one. I did end up bringing in my metallic watercolours, some different kinds of gold. I think that one is a paint pen, gold paint pen. There's gold glitter gel pen and just a normal gold gel pen. I think that's what I used. The rest of it is the Big Kids pencils with some gel pen, glitter gel pen, and some metallic watercolours. We can make those shiny. Yeah, never wants to show up properly on camera. But again, I outline the daffodils with the gold gel pen, if that can show up. Yeah, those have got sparkly outlines. I did use the blue to outline this mask, a blue glitter gel pen, some blue glitter gel pen for these. Oops, get that on camera. Some blue glitter gel pen for these tiny little flowers just to go around the outlines. The peacock feathers are the metallic watercolours, as is the blue feathers there. There's a lot of white gel pen to go around the outlines. I made her dress white so I could play around with the colours for the background pretty much. Again, I've brought in the stick-on crystals for her headdress, her earrings, and there's a little one there on the mask, and there's some 3D paint, Dovecraft kind of 3D paint there that I've brought in a few places because there was a lot of little dots on the image that I didn't quite know what to do with, so I brought in this 3D paint. It's Dovecraft. Just went off and found that one. Yep, Dovecraft 3D paint. There we go, Pearl Effect 3D paint. It's in a bottle like the stickles, so I just kind of dotted that on for those little dots. And I thought the blue would match in with my colour scheme I had going on there. And I think that's worked out really well. So there we go. That is from the Winged Fantasy Special Colouring Heaven by Adele Lorienne. And lastly, again fitting in with my film and TV theme, I think, the Witcher colouring books. This is one that my son picked out for me to colour, and again, one of the more complicated ones in the book. He did pick out 2 or 3. This is the one I ended up colouring. I'm not sure I can get that camera any better, but there we go. That is the one that I coloured in. And I did that one with the marker base, which I usually use in this book. You can see there I did a little bit of paper collage. That was for Geralt's costume. I've just moved the ring lamp over there so I can get us more into the middle of the screen. But there we go, that's the one that I've coloured in this book. And as I said, yeah, marker base, pencil shading on top, a little bit of paper collage for Geralt's outfit here. I tried to match him a little bit too shiny there. And this is a really fun quest in the game. I do love this quest, and that's probably why my son chose this picture, because he knows I do love this quest. But this is where Geralt here is possessed by a spirit, and the spirit is a little bit of a party animal, so we get Geralt acting completely out of character. And yeah, it is super fun. I did bring in some silver gel pen for a little bit of a detail on Shani's outfit there. And of course Geralt's medallion, a few bits of his costume, the rest marker with pencil shading. And yeah, the background, to be honest, I was over the background very, very quickly. I don't really colour many backgrounds that are packed full like this, and the people in the background just have the bare minimum of shading, a little bit of colour on them, bare minimum of shading, but the main focus is going to be Geralt and Shani anyways. So I made sure that they had all the detail, the background. Yeah, let's not look too closely at the background. I tried to keep the colours pretty much the same as in game. I couldn't remember what this kind of colour was here, so I made it green to match, as I said, match with Shani's outfit there. And yeah, pretty pleased with how that turned out. Originally I was going to give it a daytime sky out there with a really light blue, but in the end I went over it with a darker blue to make it more in towards the evening, because in the game you are in this kind of area, this scene, until midnight, so I figured that would be okay to make the sky a little bit darker outside. I needed the contrast to have Geralt's hair be standing out there, and yeah, that was a fun one to do, and another one coloured in my Witcher book, which kind of fits in with my film and TV because he does have his TV series now, and yeah, pretty fun for the main characters at least. The background not so much. I'm really not into detailed backgrounds like that, but I think I did it well enough to be there in the background and not really detract too much attention. So that is the one that I coloured in the Witcher colouring book. I'm not entirely sure on the artist for that one. I don't think it says which artist does which page. We do have the illustrations, there we go, with illustrations by those guys there. I'm not going to try and read those names out and butcher them. Scott Wade I could do, the others not so much. And that is the Witcher adult colouring book. And lastly, I'm putting it last so that people can actually switch off if they want to. I did actually do a drawing this month as well, if anybody's interested in that. I was requested to do a colouring page, kind of on a springtime sort of steampunk sort of vibe going on, and this is what I ended up drawing. Hopefully she will show up on the camera. And there we go, that's what I ended up drawing. This is a printout because I took her into the computer to tidy up my lines and all that kind of stuff, and that's what I ended up printing out. So there we go, that is what I ended up drawing this month, and all the pages that I coloured. My theme for next month, which was going to be for this month, but I've kind of bumped my next few themes forward because I stuck with the films and TV, but I thought maybe mushrooms could be a nice theme. And that was going to be for March, mushrooms for March. But as everything's got bumped forward, we're going to be doing mushrooms in April, I think. And I know there's lots of colouring pages that have mushrooms, especially Hannah Carson. I do have one Hannah Carson book. Maybe I could find some mushrooms in there. I know there's at least one work in progress I could actually work on with mushrooms, or toadstools rather. I'm putting that under the same kind of brackets: mushrooms, toadstools, fungus of some description. That will be my theme for next month, I'm thinking. So hopefully there'll be lots of pictures, lots of choice I'll have there for my colourings next month. But hopefully you've enjoyed looking back at all the pictures I coloured during March this year. If you did enjoy the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you in future videos. Bye!